Well, hello everybody.
Hello.
Today I want to talk about my native country, Cuba. It's an island in the Caribbean Sea, only 90 miles from South Florida, so we are neighbors, pretty close. My native country is widely known by its culture, which includes music, food, and traditional beliefs. Are some of the things that the culture is much more broad, but I'm going to talk about those three topics as my body paragraphs. I don't know if any of you have visited my island, but many tourists are attracted. So, first, I want to talk to you about the music. Okay, so first picture. Okay, can you zoom a little bit? Everybody can see clear. This is a typical band, which is called septeto because there are 7. It comes from number 7. But do you see the instruments? The guitars, the drums. You know, there is a bass that was included later on, and this, what is called el güiro. So this is a basic illustration of how the typical music of Cuba is based on. So the Cuban music inheritance comes from Spain and Africa. Spain and Africa. And why? Because all of you know that Spain discovered my island in 1492. So they brought the strings with them. They brought the guitar with them. They were the ones who brought the guitar. So the guitar that you see here is a guitar of 6 strings. But there is another one right behind that is a little one. That is a guitar with only 3 pairs of strings arranged, which is called el tres cubano. And this is called el seis. Inheritance from Spain. They brought it. But there is another very interesting thing, the drums. Look, this drum is called el bongo. And these are maracas, and this is el güiro. Those came from Africa. So we have here that the Cuban music is a fusion or a combination between European music from Spain and African, who brought their drums when they were brought as slaves to work as the labor force in the Caribbean islands and later on in the rest of America, Central America, South America, even parts of North America. They were brought as slaves, but they brought their music, which was mostly based on drums. Spaniards brought the strings, and the combination of both gave birth to a unique music Cuban style that is called el son cubano. I don't know if you have el son cubano, which later on gave birth to salsa. You have probably danced salsa a lot here in Florida. Salsa is a product of el son. Combination of Spanish music with African music fused together. Which, well, our music is based on that inheritance. So when you visit Cuba in the future, if you have the possibility, they will teach you to dance salsa there, for sure. There is no tourist that will escape from learning how to dance salsa. It's a syncopated rhythm, it's not even, always against the main even times. Okay, now I want to talk about the second topic that I brought for you is about the food. Number 2, the food, the Cuban food. I'm pretty sure if you went to Miami, you will eat a lot. Lots of restaurants with Cuban food. Here you do see some too. Let's picture number 2. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty tempting, isn't it? That makes me hungry. Okay, Cuban is also known by its exquisite food. It's a blend of Taino food, and there comes African inheritance and Spaniard too. The food did not escape from that inheritance. we are also influenced by it. Because this, what you see in here, this mixture of rice and beans is called congri. Congri cubano. It's a dish. Rice blends with beans. Notice how the rice takes the same color of the beans. The rice is not quite there. Why? Because it's cooked in the juice from the beans so that it takes the same color. It's seasoned with cumin, onions, and other spices that taste really good. What you see here is called ropa vieja. Ropa vieja. Okay? It's a shredded beef. Shredded, cooked in a tomato sauce, also seasoned with cumin, oregano, and other spices that tastes really good. So we have here the plantains, which is called maduros. Here people eat it a lot too. Also Puerto Ricans love it. Maduros, plantains, fried plantains, but right. So I have to mention, this is just a basic dish, but we have, of course, much more, it's a little bit more, it has many more options, like we have chapinos, which is another plantain, which is squeezed in a device that squeezes it. Chapinos, we have yuca vida, we have another type of plantain. No, that is called, this other one is called, well, we have chapinos and we have plátano frito, which is like a chip, but it comes from the same plantain tree. Well, great. I'm pretty sure you will love it. Now, I want to move to my third topic, which is the traditional beliefs. So let's click on the traditional beliefs, religions, beliefs. And here we have the Catholic Church. Okay? Again, the Spanish and African roots are still visible in religion too. So we are all influenced by our heritage from Spain and Africa. You know that the Spaniards brought the Catholic religion when they came in 1492. They discovered the Caribbean islands. They brought that, and when they brought it, they forced the natives and the African slaves that they brought as slaves were forced to believe in Catholicism. There is a little bit of a problem here, okay? Because they tried to impose that religion by force. So the natives already had their gods and deities. And the Africans also brought their gods and entities from Africa that they used to worship. But there was a problem. The whole Inquisition was there at its high point. And they accused, or they charged with heresy, every type of belief that was different from the Catholic. I mean, if there is any Catholic here, forgive me, I respect. I'm not saying anything against the Catholic Church. I'm saying the history, the heritage that we have. So, Spaniards brought the Catholic religion, and the Africans that were forced to come to the Americas to be brought as slaves, they brought their gods or deities that they used to worship. And they continue doing their rituals, worshiping those gods. There was a problem when the Spaniards tried to force the Africans and the natives to believe in Catholicism. Many of them refused. So, and they threatened them with burning them and kill them if they did not follow that. So they didn't have any choice. They tried to combine them. They were intelligent and smart. The African says, okay, we're not going to give up our gods or our deities, but let's do something to please these Spaniards. So they combine their gods with the Catholic saints. And that's what is called in Cuba syncretism. Syncretismo, which is a fusion between African gods or deities or entities and the saints of the Catholic Church. If you go to Cuba, they will teach you that. Syncretism, a unique combination of African and European religion. I'm not going to talk too much about the natives because they were exterminated in the 16th century. But they already had their rituals in which they used drums too. But the natives, there is not too much to talk about the natives because they were completely exterminated 1 century later. So, can I see the following picture, which is the last? I only brought 5. Let me show you something. Just zoom a little bit. This is an African Cuban priest that is called Santero. This religion is called Santeria. It's an African Cuban religion. They still speak the same language of their ancestors from Africa. They know, besides Spanish, which is our first language. This is a ritual invoking one of the deities. The color red represents Shango, which is the god of the thunder, which in syncretism is the same saint of the Catholic Church called Santa Barbara. So do you see all the necklaces here represent the forces of nature and each god that is associated with it. So the smoke, the music, the drums, everything opens the door for those entities to manifest. So there's a real clearly visible ritual here where, you know, the color white is predominant in women who dance around that fire pit. They also drink liquor and they spit it on that altar to make those gods manifest. They also sacrifice animals on those altars. So this unique religion, which is called Santeria, is very predominant. In the US, you will see some Cubans also practicing that, and other Latin Americans too. But there are other religions besides from African inheritance, like Abaqua, like Babalao, El Palo Monte, El Palo Mayombe. All those are African religions brought to Cuba that still now exist, and they still practice their rituals there. Well, in conclusion, my native country's culture is very wide. It would take many hours for you to explain to you everything that involves my culture as a nation. But I think these 3 topics are crucial to understand at least some of the basic idiosyncrasies that we have as a nation. So if one day you visit my country as a tourist, and you really want to know our history, our culture, our roots, everything, I'm pretty sure they will explain you these topics in detail. So, because that made us who we are to the present time. That's everything I brought to you. I want to thank you for your listening.